Max Holloway's taking on Dustin Poirier this weekend for the Make-A-Wish belt. The belt that only comes out when the UFC doesn't have a title fight on the card so they can sell it. But it's going to be a good fight regardless, and I'm looking forward to it. Although, I do think it will be sad to watch as an MMA fan, seeing Dustin get slept in his retirement fight. I'm going to go through the whole card, give my predictions for all the fights, tell you why it is that Dustin's going to get slept. And, I'm going with a few dogs on this card. I went 10 for 12 on the last card. Or, I don't know, I missed like 2 or 3, depending on whether or not you count the Stephen Thompson atrocious robbery of the century. And people were clowning on me because I missed like the main event. That's one of the 2 or 3 fights I missed. So yeah, you can make fun of me for missing a few fights, but how about all the other fights I got correct? So for everyone clowning me, my picks were pretty good, and I'm fixing to go 100% on this card. So if you stick around, you might make some money. And if you leave now, you're probably going to have no clue what's going to happen this weekend. You're going to be out of the loop. So I'd suggest you stick around and see what's good. I'm going to start with the People's main event. Carol Judge versus Nikolay. Look, everyone knows Nikolay. I'm going with Carol Judge by decision. Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh. McVeigh was supposed to fight Cedricus Dumas, but he couldn't get his ankle monitor off, so that fight was canceled. Then it was Ewart or something. That fight also got canceled. That guy missed weight, I think. And then he just got cut from the UFC, so he's finally getting his UFC fight, and he's going against Bruno Ferreira. Jackson McVeigh is a pretty good fighter, going against the regional bums, but as far as how he's going to hold up in the UFC, I don't think he's ready yet. I'm going to go with Bruno Ferreira. I think Jackson McVeigh is going to be very small for the weight class. He's 6 foot, and he's pretty slim. 6 foot for middleweight's not too big. I just think Bruno Ferreira is going to light him up like the 4th of July, so relatively easy pick there. Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brekke. Ryan Spann's a former light heavyweight. And while I did lose his first heavyweight bout against Waldo Cortez Acosta, that guy's actually decent, like a 6 out of 10 heavyweight blob, so definitely above average. And Lucas Brekke, Ryan Spann by knockout. Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. Jimmy Crute has not won a fight in his last 4 with 2 draws, 2 losses. Who has he fought again? Yeah, that draw with Bellato, who is now known as the best actor in UFC history. And Marcin Prachnio, this guy sucks. He's literally just a random can. I'm going to go with Jimmy Crute by, I'll say decision or 3rd round knockout. Likely decision. And guys, I'm going to put some more meat and potatoes into these fights as I get deeper into the card. But for now, I'm just kind of buzzing through these so we can get to the good stuff sooner. Fugate versus Islam Dulatov. This one's an easy layup for Islam. He's probably going to win by knockout. He's a red-hot prospect. The UFC obviously sees something in him. I guess he modeled for Chanel or Gucci or something. They're probably excited. They think they got another Luke Rockhold. Islam Dulatov is literally just being set up for a win here. And Adam Fugate is a lamb sent to the slaughter. So you got to go Islam Dulatov if you have any clue how the UFC works. Middleweight Ngannou versus Robert Valentine, who just got destroyed by Torres Finney. I'm going to go with Atuba Gatier. Is that how you say his name? Probably. Atuba Gatier. Regardless, he's going to win. Again, Robert Valentine's kind of being sent to the slaughter right here. The UFC doesn't think he'll win. They want Atuba to win. And Atuba's got some good hands. He's rapidly improving. He's in his mid or low 20s, so he's very young. Like I said, Robert Valentine just got destroyed by Torres Finney. Held against the fence, held down. Didn't really offer much in that fight. So that makes me think that he's not going to have a huge grappling advantage over Gautier. And obviously on the feet, it's going to be night and day. So you got to go Gautier by knockout. His power is insane. Is he the next Francis Ngannou? No, he's probably a little better because Ngannou lost to Cyril Gane. But we'll see how he does against Valentine. I don't know why this fight's above the Dulatov and Gautier fight. But we got Francisco Prado versus Nikolay Veritenikov. Look, Veritenikov is a disgrace to the OV last name. He just doesn't hold up his side of the bargain. And he's probably going to lose this one, likely by knockout. Now we're getting into an interesting fight. Well, not so interesting, but it's definitely a fight. The rematch between Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen. They first fought in the casino a couple years ago. Now they're actually getting a fight in the octagon. And to be honest, I'm going with Brendan Allen. Marvin Vettori is actually not as old as people think. He's only like 31. Brendan Allen's still in his 20s, I believe. So 2 relatively young guys. Both likely have not reached their peaks, but Brendan Allen, I think, has the deeper skill set on the ground, which is going to win him this fight. Although his fight IQ is negative, he was able to do well against Fluffy. It was like 2-1 Fluffy by the end of the fight. I think he won the 2nd round. He was able to reverse some positions, and he just made some dumb mistakes, like going for submissions that weren't fully there, losing positions. And when he was doing well on the feet, he'd take it to the ground. So Brendan Allen, I just think, is a much more technical fighter. It has more ripples to his game. Marvin Vettori's a standard 5 out of 10 everywhere. And while I do think it's possible Marvin Vettori can pull off the upset here, he's not going to be getting a knockout. I can guarantee you that. He doesn't have that much power. And Brendan Allen also probably isn't going to knock out Vettori, because we know Vettori has a head of granite. So I think it's going to be Brendan Allen by either a controlling decision or a submission. Probably a controlling decision. But then again, Marvin Vettori is pretty compact. I feel like he's not going to be the easiest to control, especially going against a bag of milk like Brendan Allen. So this one, it's hard. Marvin Vettori did beat Costa, right? I think he did. Let me check that. Yeah, he beat Costa. And Costa's actually decent on the feet. Has okay grappling. Low-key, I think I might go with Vettori. Brendan Allen has just negative fight IQ. And Vettori took so much damage in that Jared fight, though. This is hard. What are we thinking? I'm going to go with Marvin Vettori. I just don't see Brendan Allen holding him down that much. And I think Vettori is going to be able to outstrike him. Am I making a blunder here? Let me see. Yeah, now that I think about it, like, Vettori likely will be able to defend most of the takedowns. And then on the feet, Brendan Allen does not hold the ability to knock out Vettori. And I think Vettori will be able to piece him up on the feet. I'm going to go with Vettori on this one. But then again, Brendan Allen did, like, out-scramble Paul Craig. Oh, gosh. Screw it. I'm going with Vettori. Next, we got the easiest fight to call on the card. Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Oliveira is going to destroy him. Destroy him. You saw what Rob Font did to Kyler Phillips. He made him look silly. Vinicius Oliveira is like Rob Font. It wasn't, mind you, it wasn't prime Rob Font that destroyed Phillips. It was a older version. But Vinicius Oliveira is like Rob Font, except faster, more power, and a deeper tool bag on the feet, and better anti-grappling. So when Kyler Phillips not able to take him down, and he's stuck with Oliveira on the feet, because Simone couldn't take him down, Nurmagomedov couldn't really take him down, neither of those guys could control him, and they're arguably on the same level as Phillips. Oliveira is going to tune him up bad on the feet, probably chin him. I'm going Oliveira by KO. Easy fight to call. This is 100% one of the locks on the card. Next, we got Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. Michael Johnson can beat anyone on any given night, but he's like 40 years old now, and Zellhuber is a young, surging contender, good striking, good potential. I just don't see Michael Johnson fluking this one, to be honest. I do like Michael Johnson a lot. It would be crazy if he wins. Zellhuber gets hit a lot, and Michael Johnson's not someone you want to get hit by. I do think this will be a war regardless. It's hard to tell, now that I'm really thinking about it. All right, I'm going to stop overthinking this. Just go with my gut. I'm going Daniel Zellhuber. But if Michael Johnson gets a flash KO, do not be surprised. Danny Ige versus Pitbull. Again, this is another one of my locks. Easy fight to call. It's going to be Danny Ige. Danny Ige and Patricio Pitbull are pretty much carbon copies, except Danny Ige has more experience against top-level competition. He's younger, and he's coming off a win against a pretty good contender in Sean Woodson. Patricio Pitbull is coming off a loss convincingly against Yair. I think everything's pointing towards the fact that Danny Ige is going to win. You know, same style, stocky boxers. Danny Ige's got good anti-wrestling. He went toe-to-toe with Movzar. He arguably beat Diego Lopez, or at least it was close. Almost beat Lerone Murphy. Like, he's up there neck and neck with these top guys. Patricio Pitbull couldn't hold a candle to Yair. So I'm going to go with Danny Ige. This isn't one you're going to have to overthink. You don't got to look at Patricio Pitbull's Bellator highlights. Just look at the age, the momentum, the styles, their recent fights. Danny Ige's looked way better. He's going to get this one done for sure. Kevin Holland versus D-Rod. This one's another lock. Kevin Holland's easily going to destroy D-Rod. D-Rod didn't look that good in his last fight against, who was it? Ponzinibbio, that's right. Yeah, Kevin Holland destroyed Ponzinibbio, and he just destroyed Gunnar Nelson. And before that, he destroyed, I'm pretty sure there's a fight between the Nelson and the RDR fight. Was there not? There had to have been. This is a Luque fight. Luque was his most recent fight. He destroyed Luque, and before that, he beat Gunnar Nelson. But D-Rod's old. I don't even have to get into the X's and O's. Like, we know Kevin Holland's going to destroy him. no need to waste any more time. Kevin Holland's an absolute lock. How he wins, I don't know. It could be a few routes he decides to take. Personally, I think he's probably going to knock him out. But if he's feeling respectful, he might choke him out with the Darce. It really depends what he's feeling. But Kevin Holland will win this fight. And his chin's just insane. So I don't even really believe that there's a knockout chance for D-Rod. And he sure as hell ain't going to wrestle him to a decision or submit him. So Kevin Holland's one of the biggest locks on the card. Next we got Roman Kopylov versus Paulo Costa. Again, this is one of the fights where I try to really look into the X's and O's. But I think I just got to go with my gut. Roman Kopylov. He's a much more technical, cleaner striker. Paulo Costa doesn't have the grappling ability to necessarily beat someone using just that. I think Roman Kopylov's just going to tag him up. And he's just a better version of Luke Rockhold. And we saw Luke Rockhold give Paulo Costa problems. Sean Strickland destroyed him. His confidence is at an all-time low. Roman Kopylov, while he's slightly overrated, I still think he's going to beat Costa. Costa is like, him and Vettori are the same guy. The same fighter. They're both just 5 out of 10s everywhere. Maybe Costa has a slight striking advantage over someone like Vettori, but Roman Kopylov is on a whole different level of striking. He should be able to tune him up. And while there is a chance for Costa to catch him, I find that outcome very unlikely. So I'm going to go with Roman Kopylov, the educated pick. And the main event, Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. I said in the beginning of the video, I'm going to say it again, Max Holloway will destroy Dustin Poirier. Unfortunately, that's just how things are going to go. Let's look at the recent fights just for the fun of it. I know MMA math doesn't work, but just bear with me. Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier loses by knockout in the second round. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Justin Gaethje gets dismantled the whole fight and then knocked down in the 5th round, followed by getting absolutely slept and destroyed by Holloway. So we can just look at that and be like, okay, I'd give Holloway the immediate advantage. Then we go look at their age. Dustin, 36.5, Max, 33 and some change. Okay, so Dustin's clearly not going to be like the Dustin that fought Max Holloway in the second fight. And Max has actually had time to bulk up and prepare for this fight, unlike the second fight he had where, while it wasn't necessarily short notice, it was short notice for a different weight class fight where he had to properly bulk because it does take time to put on that muscle. He already built that muscle going up for the Gaethje fight, so it's going to be way easier to put on the muscle he had at 155. But he's actually going to have time to develop his body and have a good composition for this fight. Dustin Poirier is already, I think he's okay with the fact of taking a loss. He seems like he just wants to have a good fight, which is fair enough, but Max Holloway's still hungry. He still has a run left in him. Dustin Poirier's done after this fight, whether he gets a first round knockout, 5-round domination, or gets slept. Like, at the end of the day, Dustin Poirier's career is over after this fight. So Max Holloway's fighting for something. Dustin Poirier's fighting for nothing as far as the UFC goes. Yeah, you could say his family, but strictly UFC, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses this fight. It's over. His career is done. Max Holloway still has a run left in him. He needs this fight more than Dustin. He's going to be hungrier. He's going to be stronger than when he fought Dustin that second time. And it was a 2-3 fight, by the way. So it's not like Dustin blew him out of the water. No, it's 2-3. And if you go back, when was it, 5, 6, 7 years ago? If you go back to that fight, take both of them and ask yourself who improved more since then. The clear, obvious choice is Max Holloway. He looked amazing in that Ilia Topuria fight up until the finish. Arguably winning some rounds against Topuria, who's a way better striker than Dustin, way more power. And while that is going to be a question about his chin, we saw Volk do just fine after that Topuria fight. And Max has taken quite a bit of time off since the KO. Was probably coming up on a year. When was that fight? October. So about 9 months since the Ilia Topuria fight. And he's going up a weight class, so his chin's going to be even better. Dustin Poirier is not going to have the same power, or at least it's not going to be any greater than what he once had. He's certainly not going to have the same speed. Max Holloway has better defense. Dustin Poirier's body has been... He just went to war with Islam over a year ago. That's another factor. He's been out for that long, over a year. At this age, being out for that long, that's a problem. And I just think Max is going to tune him up bad. I could go on and on for reasons why Max is going to win. I mean, the last time we saw him at 55, if that wasn't evidence enough that he will destroy almost anyone in this division on the feet, purely on the feet, I don't know what is. It's him and Ilia are the top 2 pure strikers in the lightweight division at this point in time. And Dustin Poirier is not going to be shooting takedowns. And if he does, Max Holloway's takedown defense is phenomenal. So there is almost no route to victory here for Dustin unless he catches Max. But when is the last time we've seen Dustin knock out a legitimate contender on the feet? Is the Conor McGregor fight. back in 2021. No, 2020. He hasn't knocked out anyone legit, and Max Holloway has done good in his past couple fights. The Korean Zombie and the Justin Gaethje knockouts were both fairly recent, so he's putting on more pop to his shots. He's going to be a more powerful fighter than Dustin's ever seen. Ultimately, it's going to be a nightmare for Dustin, I think. Just way faster guy, rangier. Max has improved defense. I just don't like Dustin's chances here. So I'm going to go with Max Holloway, either by decision or round 3 or 4 KO. If it gets to the 5th round, I think it's just going to go to a decision. He's probably already damaged Dustin enough. I don't think he'll want to do anything too harsh, but who knows. Either way, Max Holloway should be a lock on this card. It's about pick'em, which is crazy. Max Holloway's a very safe pick. But those were my picks for UFC 318. If you agree or disagree with any of them, let me know in the comments. But I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.